Hey everybody, it's Eddie, and got a quick video for you today about a game that I like to play when I'm waiting for my videos to be fully rendered out in Blender, or after editing some videos of recordings or something like that. And I'm actually in the middle of, or actually I'm at the end of recording a big series about a game that I played through. That's all I'm going to say about it, because in hopefully a couple days it'll be starting to be uploaded on a regular basis, hopefully of one episode a day. But so yeah, I got a game to show you here, and it's called the Physics Simulation Game, and it's one of those sand games where you paint on and the sand falls down. And I really like these games because there's lots of stuff that you can do with the sand. To go over some of the basics, which is just about the sand, is if I'm putting seed on top of just normal sand, and it's growing some plants, which then if you put some water on, like that one's kind of a short one, if you put some water on it, grows a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. And then you can take fire and burn the plants, and you can take ants and you can put them on the plants, and they all start eating the plants and replicating and making like an ant hill. Except these guys are going crazy over here. But anyways, there's also birds, which will head up here and just fly around in a big group. And if they collect on something, then they'll fly around again. So now this is getting pretty hectic. But there's one thing about this sand game that kind of separates it from the other ones. There's a couple things, but the first one is kind of the biggest, I think, is if I just put on some sand here and I get fire, this fire is going to create heat, which is the red lines coming out of the top. And if I put this heat underneath the sand as it's falling, it's actually forcing the sand up, like heat rises, that physics. And it actually has the physics simulation in it. It's not just sand interacting with sand and stuff like that, but there's actually wind, heat, some other forces like that. And there's a couple other things. There's players. If I just drop this guy in here, and then I can use the arrow keys and move him around. And if I add a little powder, maybe I'll make a little bowl here and put some water in it. If I stand with the player on top of the powder, actually I'm on top of I'm in the water now. You spit out water, and if you stand on top of the sand, you spit out sand when you press the down arrow key. So this is interesting because this is also the only sand game that I've found that you can load up other people's simulations that they've created. So people put these players in here, and then you have to cause the right interactions between the sands, or the various different kinds of powder, and get through a little level, which is pretty cool. Another thing that separates this from other ones is if I put my pen size down to 0, and if I draw a little square of metal, this is the metal material, and I can't really get this to work. You have to make it really neat for it to work properly. Oops. And then you take thunder, and you touch the thunder on the metal. It's probably hard to see, but if you can kind of notice the thunder is going around the metal. It's not going around the entire square, because like I said, you really need it to be drawn perfectly in a perfect square. But it's going on a little portion right here, and that's actually holding the charge. So people make these things where you touch a piece of metal with the thunder, and it starts off a whole circuitry of a computer. So that's pretty cool. If you get some glass, which is hard to see, but if I throw some lightning on it, that didn't really work as well as I thought it would. Oh, it's because my pen size was at 0. I put my pen size up here and draw a thick glass line. Well, actually, that shattered the glass. But if you connect charge at either end of glass, I'm pretty sure it causes the glass to go yellow. So people can use that to make little displays where if you press something with thunder, it'll light up the glass. And we're going to see that in a minute because I can load up other people's worlds here. They also have laser beams. Of course, as usual, they have explosives. And we'll see some of that later. Oh, and here's the last thing before I start loading up other people's worlds. Oh, I should get this first. Alright. So this is called pump. And there's a couple liquids. There's water, oil, and excuse me. And I think that's it. But as you can see, the water is kind of being lifted up to pump, and I'm pretty sure there's probably a way to have it come out the other end, but I don't know what it is. So the water's just kind of being stored within the pump, and then it's coming out the other end. Or it's not coming out the other end. Okay, so it's probably gonna look weird on the screen capture because the window that the frame that I'm using here is gonna be off center from the game. But I'm gonna load up some other ones here. I've sort of picked these up beforehand and sort of not. Okay, so this is the first one. It's by Comebek, C-O-M-E-B-E-K. Yeah, and it's called the Laser Course. If I just line up my screen capture again, here we go. So the laser is going through these things, and laser bounces off of metal. So the laser starts in the box in the lower left, and it's just been bouncing off of the tiny pieces of metal, reflecting off of them like a mirror, and is going through this entire course. And it actually takes quite a long time to go through the whole thing, so I'm going to stop it there. I want to keep the video short, but I think that's pretty cool. Now let's see. Here's one. It's by Space Out, and it's a nuke. So this is just using all the explosives. It looks like there's nitro in there at the green. Gunpowder in there is something. I'm not sure what. Let's see what else. Well, there's other explosives. And it's triggered by the whole lightning or the whole thunder and metal system as before. There's also a player in here in the little hut in the lower right, and it's spitting out stone. But anyways, so put the thunder here, and it's gonna follow. You light this orange dot, and the orange dot is something. I'm not sure what material that is. I've been meaning to test it, but it might be clone, which just duplicates whatever touches it, and so it's just duplicating the charge. Follow it along here, blows up the nuke. Which this coloring here is heat. So red's really hot, blue's sort of hot, black is no hot. The fatal level has maxed out, and actually this didn't really break the bunker. But oh, it kind of is. The red is the heat, which I guess probably is meant to represent the radiation of the nuclear bomb. And it's pretty intense. Alright, let's load up another one. There also is pixel art, and this one I can't read the name because the screen recorder border is blocking my way. So sorry for whoever made this one. I don't have your name. Oh, here it is. Vinyamr, V-I-N-Y-A-M-R. And it's just pixel art actually of an iPhone 4S. And it's made with some volatile materials because once you start it, it immediately explodes. That's pretty cool. So there's also the pixel art aspect of this. Sorry for having the screen move around. I don't really have a choice though. There's two more that I want to do. This one's also by Space Out, which is the nuclear bomb one. Similar, it is a power plant, and if we start this up, you'll see that these two things on the side are using what I was talking about before, somehow using metal, charged metal, to light up glass. And it says please vote, because you can vote for the ones you like. There's a player in here, which is yeah. So it looks like there's pumping up oil into the spinning thing. I don't know what the spinning thing is doing with it. And I'm not sure if there's actually anything being generated here, or if it's just for visual effect. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like oil is being pumped into the oil tanks, which is being pumped back into here. And then, for whatever reason, this is doing something to this. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just, like I said, visual effect. But anyways, there's one more that I want to show you, and this blew my mind. So, it's by 12me21, and it is a calculator. So, I'm not sure of all the materials that are used. I know that there is the thunder and the lightning. I mean, the thunder and the metal. And basically, it's a calculator. This down here is just some display for, or some logic for display here. And this over here is the actual function of adding these two numbers. But if you charge one circuit here for the 2, it goes into this area. And if we do another one for the 6, it'll go into that area again, and it'll output over here, which displays the 8 out of glass. It lights it up. And that's just amazing. I'll prove to you this truly is adding. 3 and 9 is 11. Wow. I mean, to make that is, it seems... First of all, to actually draw that with the smallest pen size, and like I said, for the thunder to work, you have to be going in straight lines and 90-degree angles, I think. But this is all in straight lines and 90-degree angles, so that must have been such a pain to do out, but it was totally worth it because this is amazing. And I want to know how this logic was done. It seems like there's some kind of material that's used in here to block the charge, and it seems like there's, if we look here, if we reload it, there's little white or light blue dots or something like that. I can't see really, it's small, but on either side. And when you charge one, it takes off a certain chunk. So if you do 0, it wouldn't knock out any, and if you do 9, it's gonna knock out them all. And then somehow it must count what's left and subtract it from something else? I don't know. So what's this? 9. Wait, that's not a number. It does glitch out. See, this little ball shouldn't be outside this thing. Should stay in there, but it does have a... It's not perfect, but I mean, hey, it's still amazing. So that's it for this game. And there's another one that I want to show you. It's very similar, and we're not going to cover it as in depth as this one, but I'm gonna need to do it in a separate video, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and this one is called Earth Editor. It's by I found it on the same website. If you Google physics sand game, or sand physics game, or, well, I guess those are the same words, but anyways, it should be the top one on Google. And Dan Ball is the name of the site that I found this on, and these are just Java applets that are these physics simulations. But so anyways, this one's called the Earth Editor, and if you might be difficult to see, but there's a little white dot in the middle here, and we got a very limited amount of things to add here: sand, water, seed, the basics. And as you can see, they are going towards that little white dot in the middle. And you are creating an Earth. So here's, an Earth that's covered in water, and maybe there's some islands on that top of that water, floating islands with some seeds that are watered to grow some more stuff. Actually, it doesn't look like watering made that grow. But then some meteors fall down. These are a little different. They cause explosions. And the stuff goes flying out into outer space, and then it comes back down. There's also bomb. Oh, there's oil, so I guess you could bury oil. And then there's fire, so you can light that oil on fire. There's cloud. This is really cool. So the clouds settle. I think they touch, or I don't know how it determines how far away they do, but they settle a certain distance off of your planet to create kind of an atmosphere. So if you drop a meteor, I'm gonna need some more clouds first, and I'm gonna have to wait till they settle a little bit more. Looks like they're settling down, but well, first of all, if you drop a bomb, it leaves this residue here on the side. I'm not really sure what that is. It's like, not residue, it's not the right word, but it's something along the border of the explosion area that's not a sand, because it doesn't pour in. Ooh, but I hit the bomb on the atmosphere, as you just saw, and it caused the atmosphere to rain down onto the planet. But if we did meteor, it doesn't cause the rain, it just blows it up. And as you can see, it's being stopped by this atmosphere of clouds, which I think is pretty cool. But the last thing that I wanted to show about this game, oh, you could also have lava for like a lava center of the Earth, or make some volcanoes on the surface. But anyways, the last thing is these two. It's BH and WH, which stands for black hole and white hole. So black holes have immense gravitational forces in it, and it's kind of like a really dense singular point in space. I think it was, I'm not sure exactly what I can remember from a high school 20th century physics class, but it was something like if the Earth were to turn into a black hole, or maybe it was like if the sun turned into a black hole, it would be the size of like a golf ball or a sugar cube, or something like that. But something of around that size. And if the Earth was crushed for that, it would be a black hole. So it's very dense and it has a lot of gravity for one spot. So if you put a black hole, you can see our atmosphere is going away. Shouldn't the atmosphere be going towards it? Well, it seems to be mixed up. I remember playing this, I think it was yesterday, and they were the other way around. But either way, it basically creates a different center for your Earth. So these clouds are now going around another a white hole here, which we can put sand. Oh, okay. So it seems like clouds are just mixed up for some reason. That might be a bug. If we reset this and we put a black hole over here, put some sand, it's a new point for the sand to gather around. And if we put maybe like a couple white holes over here, and throw some water down, there's no way they're going near that. That looks pretty cool, actually, like a spiral. And you can put a wall around those white holes, and then you can put this water here, and it should be. Let me just try one white hole. And pen size up a little bit. Make this thick wall, and the water should, yeah, there we go. So the water's gonna stick to the walls then. which is pretty cool. So it kind of has the potential for some... Oh, that's just fire. Oh, ice. Ice is not a... like a physics-enabled sand. Just a... Whoop, a wall. I think if you put fire on it, it turns into water. But anyways, so both those games that we just looked at today are found, like I said, on Danball, or easiest way is to Google a sand physics game. It should be at the top of the list. It is at the time of me recording this video, at least. Both of these ones are pretty fun. There are a couple other, if I'm looking here on the right, there's a list of games that they have. There's Powder Game 2, which, yeah, I think Powder Game is what we were playing before, and then Powder Game 2 might be, I don't know, but it seems like Powder Game 2 had been under less development and has less to do in it. Then they also have this Earth editor and a couple more about the stick people that are like what we were seeing in the last game. Here's one called Planet Simulation, which I think has you kind of play as a solar system. But they all kind of have this general same feel to them, and they're pretty cool. So definitely check them out, and stay tuned for that first full series that I talked about a minute ago. And yeah, I will see you later.